What improved your quality of life so much, you wish you did it sooner? I wish my son had started ADHD meds sooner. His is pretty extreme. He's autistic and intellectually disabled as well, so everyone just assumed it was part of that. We also had an idiot pediatrician with my oldest who said that since he didn't respond to one class of stimulant, he couldn't have ADHD, his symptoms were just from autism. They both have ADHD, my oldest is just morphed into more primarily an attentive type. I can actually sit and have a cup of coffee sometimes. I am not just constantly reacting to my youngest's behaviors all day long. Answer this before keyless entry to my house. Just a basic one with a keypad, not a cell phone connected one. Never have to carry keys anymore. Never get locked out of the house. Never have to worry, did I lock the door? Family has the code, so when my brother-in-law comes to visit we don't have to wait around if he gets stuck in traffic. Don't have to give a key to house pet sitters. Make a code for them, change it when you get home. It cost me $80 and dollar for dollar it might be one of the best purchases I have ever made. Quitting cigarettes, except I drink more, got fat, eat more often and more depressed. I don't smell like fucking shit, I don't have to leave events to put my little white handcuff in my hand, my teeth breath are better, I kinda hang out with only non-smokers now, which kinda took a while but we gravitated towards each other once I stopped smelling like ass. It's been 6 months and I had to take a spiritual journey for it to really click. Smoker for 18 years. Not one cig will ever be smoked by me again. 2 things. 1. Settling down and having a family. I spent my 20s with a work hard play hard mentality. What a waste of time! 2. Becoming a Christian. My capacity for forgiveness and selflessness is more than I'd ever be capable of apart from Christ. My relationships and life in general have all improved. I can allow those around me to be imperfect and not feel as hurt, offended or angry about it. When I do experience those things I'm able to forgive much quicker and not hold a grudge. Recognizing when the negative emotion, or a distracting mental habit was entering my mind and taking proper control of it rather than having it control me. I have symptoms of ADHD, OCD, and addiction, although none have been diagnosed, any of them would be minor at worst. But I'm getting better at acknowledging these thoughts and feelings being present and letting them exist but keeping them under control at the same time, or saying I'm too busy to engage with it. Confidence. I have almost always had a loss of confidence in my everyday life, and when I started to gain some confidence my life went in a positive situation. I got healthier both physically and mentally. I got hit on by females a lot more. I actually felt happy a lot more often. 2 of my friends have surprisingly more distant, but we all are starting our early adult lives so we barely have time to have fun anymore. Actually went to the doctor and got a physical after 10 years or so at 53. Found out I had sleep apnea so severe that I have stage 4 heart failure. Apparently it's curable. On the road to healthy I have now controlled my type 2 diabetes and lost 45 pounds. I feel like I'm in my 20s again. Like the fountain of youth. I could barely make it up the stairs, now I can run. See your doctor once a year. Neck fans, I'm always hot, especially my face. I mean ridiculously hot all the time. I bought one of the more expensive pairs but for $40 it lasts all day on the highest setting and days on lower settings. Had to drive 4 hours on one of the hottest days of the year and my air condition was busted. I would have passed out from heat stroke. I stopped responding to people who would only call or text when they needed something from me. I thought they were friends. I however realized that these relationships should work both ways and they obviously weren't. So I just stopped responding to them. It's amazing how many people are around you only when they need things from you. So what I'm getting from this conversation is, stop drinking. Start drinking more water. Exercise. Get more fiber in the diet. Actually sleep decent hours. Therapy tried it twice and the recommendations aren't really possible. Quit smoking. Meditation always planned but never got around to it. Wipe out the social media. Literally me, I have not been able to really think for myself or get to know until I was 27-28, finally moved to another state by myself. Huge lack of awareness and didn't know who I was, people just thought they knew me but it was only their perception of themselves. Pretty much like a puppet as I said fuck that, woman shrugging. I had tonsil stones without knowing what they were, I just thought they were normal. In discovering I was wrong, they discovered my septum were so deviated that I could barely breathe through them. I had both things taken care of at the same time, and life was astonishingly better. I was just used to how stuff was. Adding minerals to my water. I live in the US. After visiting Italy, I noticed that I was hydrated quicker and longer when I drank their water, and I had to use the bathroom less frequently. Turns out, all of their drinking water has minerals. I felt the best I've ever felt, physically, after 2-3 days in Italy. Treating no. Like the complete sentence it is. I still fall into over-explaining when triggered sometimes, but nowhere near like I used to. It wasn't important what I was saying, my abusers simply valued the output and energy wasted. Kept me exhaustedly compliant for years. Never, again, finding anxiety medicine that worked for me. I had no idea how anxious I was until that first week of taking it. Who knew waking up anxious and on edge all the time wasn't normal? I can actually get sleep too now. Definitely wish I found help sooner, but I'm so happy I'm in a better place now. Quitting smoking. Being a non-smoker is amazing. It was always absurd that I smoked because I'm athletic and a runner. Since I quit like 2 years ago, I can run forever. Like, I don't get tired. I don't wake up hacking up slime. I don't stink. I can't believe I ever started that shit. Getting a A2 calendar for the whole year. I have difficulty concentrating and remembering stuff. Now it lies on my table beneath my laptop every day and I barely forget anything. Work meeting, doctor appointment, playdate for my son, get Halloween and pumpkins. I got this. Stopped eating any fast food and really, eating out at all. The preservatives and additives really make me sick on the rare occasion I try it again. Occasionally, I still have Mexican food at a well-known authentic restaurant, and it typically does not bother me. Gave up trying to stay in the rat race and moved from a very desirable, high-call city to a remote, low-call area. I was able to buy a house and found a job that pays twice what I used to earn. I can afford to work less and I can afford to go on vacation now. Going to therapy. Turns out one of the reasons why I felt like I needed to go to therapy was because I had nobody in my life I felt safe talking to. Lucky for me, therapy provided exactly that, and now I have people in my life I feel safe talking to. Psyllium husk tablets. I spent a long time wondering why people complained about having diarrhea. Was that not completely normal for them? But it wasn't, and it wasn't normal for me either. So now, shitting is a materially better experience. Daily nature walk run instead of using the treadmill at the gyms. It's so much better to breathe fresh air and let nature heal you whilst doing cardio, rather than being confined in a crowded gym space with the smell of sweat, no sunlight. Finding the right partner, my wife. She has really helped me turn my life around. Also, entering law school. Wish I did it earlier rather than at 26, but better late than never, as I've now graduated at 30 and will be a lawyer next year. Coming out. I didn't need to be scared of my family's reaction and could have been out 10 years earlier. It would have saved me a lot of stress. On the other hand, I learned how to manage stress and how to keep my private life private. Stopped drinking. Like. Totally. Had to. Nearly died from it. Couple months later with no responsibilities and a lot of free time. Never felt better. Got chucked into the bin right after though. But that's a different story. Getting my hip tap. In the end, going to the supermarket on foot 400 meters just really hurt, and walking home with the groceries was agony. Once, a stranger told me that I should get a prescription for a walker. That's how bad it was. Realistically though, I stopped having friends socializing, going out drinking for the sake of drinking. I have a few friends and we talk most days on the phone, but I'm an adult, I don't need to be going out socializing. After 5 years of consistent discomfort in my chest, finally saw a doctor about it. Turned out to be nothing, was easily treated, and I didn't have to spend 5 years with horrible anxiety about my obviously failing heart. Prioritizing sleep over late night arguments with my husband. The phrase "never go to bed angry" doesn't work for me. A good night's sleep gives me a much clearer head and it's so much easier to solve the problem. First and most importantly, stopped smoking. Second, all the people who weren't genuine are no longer part of my life. I narrowed my circle of giving a shit about people to immediate family and closest friends. Prioritized my job less. Invest in myself with new clothes and a few hobby purchases. Sounds basic writing it out. I went deep into working all the time for a couple years and let it take over my life too much. 1. Learning the magically word no to favors handing out money. 2. Privacy. 3. Stop being an unpaid universal therapist. 4. Apply the effort I put into pulling out people's potential energy into myself. I just recently got this tip. Tuck your t-shirt into your underwear, then your shirt into pants. It makes the layers stay so they don't get all tangled and you just feel more put together. Cutting my mother out of my life. Who knew what 27 years of toxic abuse and walking around on eggshells had on my mental health? I've never felt more calm and free in my life. I went on intermittent fast 5 years ago, lost 75 pounds, and no longer need insulin injections 4 times a day. I wish I'd done it 20 years ago, when I was first diagnosed having a baby. I have PCOS and was overweight, having a hard time losing weight. For some reason after having him I'm able to lose weight now. I look and feel much better, smiley face. The right medications for depression and mood swings. Takes effort to try meds and figure out what ends up working for you. A savvy psychiatrist can change your life. Therapy. So many things have changed for me because of starting therapy, and for once in my life I've found hope. Shit sucks, but it's worth it to finally find peace. Deleting Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I kept TikTok, Reddit. It's amazing how much apps can control your daily life and you don't really even realize it. Listening to positive affirmations first thing in the morning. Not being on social media, especially the first 15 minutes of waking up or last hour before bed. Ignoring people when they make me upset. Just distancing myself from them until I calm down or it's sorted eventually. It gives me so much more peace. Marriage. Should've or could've gotten married to my husband a year sooner if I had created my profile on the site where we matched 2 years sooner. Telling employer to stuff it in a nice way just to be brought back with a hefty raise among other demands because they couldn't function without me. When I quit smoking at 40 years old. When I got divorced at 55. I didn't even realize I hadn't smiled or carried on a conversation in over a decade.